Morning, folks. Quick video this morning. 1974 John Deere 4430. Have the block tore down. Notice that the hole here for the thermostat is open now. Thermostat was getting old. It's original. Thought I'd change it. Of course, it's laying upside down. Got looking upside down, and this is what I end up seeing. This with a big nut on it. There was a big nut on the outside. This is the old style, not the new style. It's got the little tiny thing and the flipper on the inside. This is the old style. Big nut on here. It's got a flat spot here, but the nut is like 1.25 inches, so I put a big wrench on there, but it didn't leave me room to grab the hold of the element itself. So I ended up turning on it, and it twisted the element off inside the block, but which was no big deal because guess what? I could grab it with the liners out. Okay, back at it. Called the mechanic. He said, no, they probably screw right in. Well, I took the nut off. He says, well, you're probably just going to have to tap on this. So I took a chisel, tapped it this direction, of course, to unscrew it. Because it turned like this, I ended up cutting the nut off originally. So I tapped this, and it broke loose. Broke loose from the block, and you can see a tapered fit, and inside there is this here has a taper. Well, that pushes on top of an O-ring, which actually spreads this piece into the block and holds it into the block. So what you're going to actually have is inside the block, as you look from the outside, you're going to have this piece still stuck in the block with that O-ring on this outside edge here and that snap ring looking thing that's got a taper to it. You want to dig this out, the O-ring out, leaving just this in the block. And of course, hopefully you don't twist yours off like I did, because if you have your motor together, you're going to be trying to fish that element out of there. So you're going to have this sticking out of the block right here. If you're lucky enough to get the nut out or off and hold this at the same time, good. I'd keep the nut. I'd probably hook something onto the nut. Saturate the whole side. I take a wire wheel like on a drill, on the end of a drill, and clean as much as that opening in the block out as you can. Soak it down. If you can, get a slide hammer, pull on it. Otherwise, you're going to have to just barely wiggle it back and forth because it's such a tight fit. But I can't, tell you enough that you're going to have to soak it with penetrating oil. Tap it back and forth. Once you get it wiggling, you're going to be able to, the element, of course, will still be stuck on the inside of the block in here. This here would look, if I can, I suppose it's too dark. Anyhow, this is going to look like this would be sticking inside with the element stuck to it. But you're going to be looking on the side of your block like this. You're going to have this. Like I say, you're going to have to get a hold of something with this. Either that or a vice grip back and forth, wiggling it back and forth, or getting vice grip clamped on here, tapping if you have to cut the nut off like I did. Getting it tapped just to get this, but first and foremost is get this off, get this outer piece off that goes, you'll see this right on the block. Like I say, I just tapped it with a chisel. Pretty hard, mind you, it doesn't just pop off. I had to hit it pretty hard to get it to break loose. And then I dug this out here. I didn't, I hit it with a hammer, but if I was you and I was doing it again, now that I know, I'd dig this clip out, the O-rings out, and soak it all down before I started pulling on it. Then it comes right out. Then you'll clean it all up, and you will put the new style in. I don't have it sitting here. The new style is the kind that's got just the little cross T that goes through the hole, comes up through the hole here, and then it goes across here, and just got like a little 5mm bolt that just ties against here. So I hope it helps you. Anybody that's got this type of a John Deere old style block heater. So anyhow, good luck.